kid. I was 15 years old, 14 years old. Pop was hanging out with hippie glass blowers here in town, and I just fell into it, and I started doing it for fun. And by the time high school was concluding, I was really in deep. In the early 80s, there was a lot going on here. I convinced Preston and then Paul that they were going to find happiness as glass blowers, as I was.
Dante has influenced me the most of anybody, probably. He got me initially involved in glass and kept my interest in hiring me to help him make his things. And it was right around then when, in my estimation, that's when the scene started sort of picking up some momentum. And so we just, Dante, Preston, Joe DeCamp got together and worked at Benjamin Moore's studio.
The weekends were the only times that we had free, so we used to kind of take a Saturday or a Sunday, and we would each take a session, and we would help each other out, making each other's work. And so I think that the aesthetic that we all kind of developed around glass blowing was very kind of symbiotic.
That as we all come up at the same time, everybody's skills rise. I really enjoyed the camaraderie and that element of what I do as much as anything. You're not going to see that in the work so much because that's just, you know, part of the behind closed doors process of making work in a glassblowing studio. But it keeps me motivated to know, you know, that I'm going to hang out with my friends and make stuff.
It's a continuous rotation and passing on of knowledge. I mean, that's why Seattle has become predominantly the center of the glassblowing community, the glassblowing world.
I think the reason that Seattle is such a thriving glass community is over 40, 45, 50 years now, people have been migrating to the Northwest. So we have such a support within the community. Artisans or technical people, all the materials are here.
And everybody is always open to someone new coming in with a new energy, a new attitude, you know, someone fresh that can add to a team. And there's no secrets. You know, everyone knows they're here because everyone's shared in the past and learned from other people. And that attitude is still alive and well here in Seattle.
It's sort of grown, but at the same time really slowed down in the amount of activity. But there are more people than ever that are here in Seattle to blow glass. People come, they get out of art school, they move here. It's a pilgrimage they feel they have to make.
There's a lot of people that have a lot of skills now that, based on this this continuum and understanding these techniques that people reinterpret.
For a lot of younger people, it's certainly not going to be as easy as it was. I think for the most part, the buzz in the community is that the glass movement is in trouble, and there's certainly some people that are still doing really well, and there's new people coming up. You know, there's always people that can do it, but I think it's becoming a lot harder, and it's always been hard. There's always been the lucky few, or the few that have been more skilled or more persistent or whatever it takes. But I think definitely it's harder, you know, a lot harder than it used to be.
There's people out there, I mean, I could name a half dozen that just go this out there, making people take notice and saying, look, this is my stuff, you know, it was nice to meet you, I'm so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. I guarantee you that's probably, I don't know, at least 40% of it. And then you gotta have skill, and you gotta have an idea, and you gotta have patience. It's all that stuff. It's tricky. It's definitely hard to do.
Well, I think that the glass art industry, I think it just keeps going, honestly.
Everybody's still blowing glass. Most of us with the same passion that we've always had for it. I think that the scene and all the people like in my position, you know, like who have been sort of lifers that have only ever done this are still doing it. You know, my friend Preston is doing very well, and the rest of the guys that I've always blown glass with are still, that's what they're doing.
You have to have perseverance in anything that you do, And I also think that you have to dig a little deeper sometimes to create that really interesting, unique thing. I mean, I think about it in terms of the narrative pieces that I do, and you make a piece and you put it on a pedestal, and you want the piece to speak beyond what it really is.
I always want to challenge myself, and I do. That part of it gives me the biggest buzz. I mean, the making of a thing that is, when it goes well, is an indescribable feeling when you do really well, when you can successfully make something that you know is good.
This material does not forgive you. You've gotta flow with it, work with it, be in control of it, read it, think ahead of it. You just gotta become so at one with it. And on a good day, when you're just really on, when you've been working for a few days in a row, hopefully, definitely when you're making the same sort of thing, you get this rhythm going, and everything flows so much easier, and it's so gratifying because you know how long it's taken you to get to that point.